am happy and honored to introduce our next speaker, Dalamuzi Mhlanga. As a social studies concentrator here at Harvard, he has refined the philosophical underpinnings of his work in enhancing youth leadership and social responsibility. Please join me in giving Dalamuzi a warm welcome.
Hi, everyone. It's an honor and a pleasure to speak to all of you. You know, I'm sure a lot of us are excited. Hopefully, all of us are excited to go out there in this room and make this world a better place at the end of today. And I'm sure that's a very key goal. That was a key goal from today. And today, I'm going to share with you my experience in the past year. After having started Leaders Today. It's been a very interesting year, and I'd just love to share it with you. Please don't feel sorry for me, or like, oh my God, you had such a rough year. No, it's cool. I've loved the year. I knew I was going to be talking here since the summer, and I had this interesting moment today in the morning. I struggled to decide what I was going to wear coming here. And I guess that's a struggle that I share with a lot of people in the room. And there's a reason why. So I'm wearing this t-shirt called I Lead, and it's part of an initiative that we're starting to make our work financially sustainable. So we thought of ways, how can we start market-based solutions? How can we get into some kind of business that empowers young people and at the same time speaks to our mission? So like, oh yeah, we're going to start this t-shirt brand called I Lead. And whoever is wearing the t-shirt will feel empowered. Oh my God, I'm a leader. And whoever reads the t-shirt, like, oh yeah, I got this. And so we were recruiting this semester, new team members to join the team here at Harvard. And one of the team members who's going to be continuing with our work on in this fashion business was like to me at this one time, when I saw your t-shirt and you told me that you're starting this, I thought your t-shirt was ugly. And that kind of got to me. It's like, oh my God, like we thought it was so cool, I Lead. It's like so beautiful and so attractive, and everybody's going to buy it. And because she said that, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to wear that t-shirt when I'm speaking at the Igniting Innovation Summit, because I don't want people to see me wearing something ugly. And I decided a couple days back, that's how sad I am, what I was going to wear today. And there's this nice, I think it's nice, striped t-shirt. I got it out, I was ironing it and everything, and it literally happened. And when I was ironing it, I was like, wait, why have you decided not to wear that t-shirt? Because it is going to really, illustrate what you're all about. You'll be standing in the middle there, and then people will be checking you out in that I Lead t-shirt. But I was like, no, I don't want, because she said it's ugly, and everybody else is going to think that it's ugly. And, I just had this epiphany. I just threw it away and said, you know what, I'm just going to wear that t-shirt. And there's a reason why. Because a lot of the time, I'm a perfectionist. And a lot of the time, I'm a perfectionist. And it's very nice to get things right the first time. But that's kind of impossible. And I'm going to share with you our model. Sorry, I didn't have a slide. I'm kind of sad, technology stuff. This was our model in the past year. So basically, we had Leaders Today, and what we do, as you can see in the flyers that you carry, we had Leaders Today, and we did leadership training. I'll just put abbreviations. So we did leadership training, and got internships for students. So we'd go to a school and train kids on leadership. Or yeah, you can be a leader, you can go out there and make an impact. But it just didn't stop there. So we had those kids really believing in their capacity to lead, and what we needed to do was provide an opportunity for them to lead. And then what they did is they did projects for their communities which addressed the challenges that those communities face. Beautiful model, yes? No? It's better to say it's beautiful. And you know, I was really absorbed into this work. I really believed in it. I was like, we are empowering young people by providing them with this opportunity to learn about leadership and to exercise leadership in their communities. They're going to come up with these projects, and with those projects, they're going to do really cool stuff in the communities. They're going to design those projects by themselves, and they will implement them, and they will see, oh my God, there's stuff that I can do in my community. I can actually lead in my community. And those probably going to change, you know, the way they view their place in Zimbabwean society. Instead of viewing themselves as just like, you know, that random citizen, but seeing themselves as an empowered citizen that can, like, you know, do really cool stuff in their communities and in their country. So I believed in this. And I invested a lot, and this is the part where I start, you know, you probably feel sorry for me. Because I remember, and I'm very, very embarrassed to say this, very embarrassed. So just like erase it out of your mind the moment I finish saying it. The first proposal we did to like, you know, roll this out, we were asking for $100,000. You know, because we believed in it. Like, oh my God, like we can just like spread this all over the country. We'll just go training young people all over the show about leadership. And we approached this non-profit organization. We're like, you know what, you're paying school fees for 26,000 orphans. They're like an $8 million organization in Zimbabwe. So you know what, just give us $100,000 this year, and we will train as many of your students as possible. And they refused to give us $100,000. I was like, okay, cool. I ain't stopping there, you know? Came back to Harvard, and this is while I was in Zimbabwe. Came back to Harvard, you know. I know of a couple of millionaires in Southern Africa, and, you know, I just emailed them. I was like, yeah, you know, I got this cool idea, you know, it will impact Zimbabwe, it will make it. And I didn't raise a cent from it. And then we started crowdsourcing, like, you know, oh yeah, you know, email friends, like, you know, just give a little bit. Nothing came out of that. So, I was working at the faculty club, which is, you know, right across here. And I was now working about 20 hours a week. You know, I was a sophomore doing social studies in this room, and that stuff is hectic, okay? But I did 20 hours of work. I'd wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning, you know, to go there, make salads, and stand for 7 hours. You know, I learned how to make an omelet, so, you know, flip that egg. It was amazing, you know. Not a lot of skills. And what happened is I'd work that much, those many hours, and I'd send all the money to Zimbabwe, you know? And I was broke a lot of the time. I remember there was a freshman, you know, from a high school, and I'd go to him, you know, once in 2 weeks and borrow $100. He got so sick of it, I'm sure. But he never used to say, just all nice, okay, yeah. You know, he gave me the first time, probably the second time, and then the 7 other times I went back, he didn't give me any money. So I invested myself so much into this, you know, got into all these competitions, you know, just got rejected the whole time. You know, applied for these grants, applied for these fellowships, and got rejected. And I felt, oh, what? I mean, who can't see that this is amazing? Honestly. You know? But it was part of the learning process. And now we have changed our model. And this is what we have now. Now those grant people better give me money. So this is the model that we've eventually come up with. And it's different from this. And it's because there's a lot of learning that we did from moving to this model to that model. And I'll explain why. Because there's certain assumptions that come with this model. And one of those assumptions is that this arrow only goes in one direction. So Leaders Today has stuff that it has to do for the students. Then they're going to come to us and we will offer them on a silver platter youth empowerment, right? So come to us, all you 26,000 orphans, you will go through this training, and after 3 days, you'll be so empowered, you'll go out there and you'll make an impact. That's the assumption, right? That they will come to us and we'll just offer them a service and they'll go out there and they'll be changed for the rest of their lives. And the funny thing is that this assumption is replicated when students start to do their projects. Because they believe, you know what, I have the solution, I will just go into the community and I'm going to clean your community for you and I'm going to do this for you and, you know, the community really doesn't have anything to contribute to me, right? I will just come and do stuff for the community. So basically, the assumption is that, you know what, Leaders Today has all this figured out. We know what we're doing. So you'll come to us and we'll just like get everything done for you. And the students, you know, replicated that assumption. You know, we'll just go out there into the community and you'll do stuff. But it's a little different here. Because the assumption is, this world is so complex. There's so much we don't know in this world. So many challenges, so many problems, and they're interconnected in very complex ways. And really operating on this assumption is pretty inadequate. And there's so much more power with working with students, and not just working for them, and figuring out what is it as students that you can bring to the table, and what is it that we can offer you. Because really it can't be a one-way arrow. Just taking the students for granted and feeling like there's nothing they can contribute. Same with the students in the communities. There's so much more, there's so much overlap in their skills and so much overlap in their knowledge that really they need to tap into that in doing their projects and doing whatever they do with their communities. And so it is with Leaders Today and the communities. We can't work in a disjointed way. I mean, like, maybe it's possible, but to have a more direct connection with the communities and not just think like, you know, you just release students and they'll just go there and do a lot of stuff, which is good. And making this transition, it was full of anxiety and tension. I remember, you know, we worked on this with the team here at Harvard last semester, and it was tough. Because it's so complex. It was so complex and we didn't know what to do. We would have all these meetings and we'll just keep talking and talking like, oh, where are we going? Because really it's so complex and it's not as simple as just saying, I will come here and I'll do stuff for you. Because the world is so complex. And I think our challenge as people who want to go out there and make an impact is to be humble in the face of the complexity in this world. I like to say I was self-righteous, thinking like this. I thought the world was so simple, you know? I thought that our program could just come and just like, you know, make an impact. And I'm very, very glad that organization didn't give us $100,000. Very glad. Because I can only imagine, you know, how much more limiting this model was. It was important for us to go through that learning process, to face that anxiety, to live in that tension. Because only then did we start thinking deeper about what we wanted to do. And one thing about social entrepreneurs, it's great to be fired up. It's great to have passion. But at the same time, we need to be humble and accept that this world is so complex. And that offering technical solutions and, you know, thinking we can just go out there and solve the world, it may work. But probably it won't work all the time. And to think, how can I keep learning? How can I keep experimenting? Because I think one of the things that really can limit our capacity to make an impact in this world is to think we've got it all figured out. And to stop ourselves from learning, to stop ourselves from experimenting. So going back to this ugly t-shirt, I think it's gorgeous. I think it's gorgeous because it's the first step to something that is maybe going to be way bigger than we thought it would. And a lot of the time, you know, you're here because you believe you can do something. And a lot of the time, people are paralyzed because they think, oh my God, my model is so ugly. Like, there's nothing I can do with the ideas that I have in my mind. But really, the first step is in trying. I don't regret having this model and assuming that I could save the world with a little training program that went over 3 days. I don't regret it because it was a critical first step. It formed part of a critical learning process. So my challenge to you is, this world is complex. Let's be humble in face of that complexity. And let's try as much as possible to learn, to keep experimenting, to know that at some point The things that other people see as ugly, the things that we see as ugly, will be transformed to very, very gorgeous things. And that they will change the world. Thanks.